Hello everybody and welcome back to another Walking Dead video. Today we'll be talking about The Walking Dead Season 11 Episode 17 review. And it's good to have The Walking Dead back on our screen so we're not having to deal with the weird spin-offs or anything. We're now just, yes, we finally got The Walking Dead. And let's jump right into this. So this episode is called Lockdown and it's kind of the final mid-season premiere we will get for The Walking Dead. But now let's talk about this episode. This episode has three plots, two major ones and the kind of third one which is just there to show things and be filler. So the two major plots is that we have one plot which is to do with Daryl and that group outside the Commonwealth dealing with Lance. Then you have the inside plot which is about Carol trying to, with Jerry's help, get rid of the kids so they're not in danger, and then kind of go find Sebastian with the help of Negan as Negan switches halfway through the episode to which plot he's on. And then you have the third plot which is just characters reacting to things they've done, like Pamela being like, why is everyone hating me? And kind of Connie and that lot just standing in crowds being like, we did good. And there is an annoying thing. One annoying thing in the third plot is we have Mercer and Rosita and they go off to go fight these Walker Horde. What I didn't like is that the Commonwealth troopers, even in all of it, just feel very kind of dumb. And they feel very useless a lot of the time. Like, even in all the plots. They just, especially in the one with dealing with the Walkers, they are in this wide open field. And these two Commonwealth troopers drive in a straight line and they somehow trip their truck. And then Mercer and Rosita have to go save them. I was like, come on, how are they incompetent? And it's not just that, they were quite incompetent in the Daryl thing. Like, these are trained soldiers and not a single one could shoot Daryl or graze them. It was just really annoying how they felt so scattered. They're basically stormtroopers. That is one gripe I have. But now talking about the positives again. This start of this episode, I really loved the intro with Judith. I thought it was really cool. We got to see old characters again. I know it's archive footage, but it was cool to see old characters. And the start of this episode was very strong with a really good action scene. I really like the start of this episode with Daryl and everyone fighting the Commonwealth troopers. But one issue I do have is how Negan got from one group to another group so easily. I just didn't like it. Like, the episode is like, we're taking our time doing this. It makes sense. And then Negan literally goes from fighting Lance to suddenly being inside of a compound to then suddenly being in the Commonwealth. And you're like, what's the time period for this? It doesn't make much sense. I just thought that was too fast. Like, they didn't really kind of flesh out. We just saw that, okay, I'm going to go inside. Then Negan's in there, talks to Mercer, hey, can you just cheat me in? Mercer's like, yeah, why not? And Negan's there and you're like, okay, maybe if we saw a bit more. I felt like that bit was very rushed. But other than that, the Negan plot with them inside of the Commonwealth and everyone else is all really good. It's got very well paced. I will have to mention the music is absolutely amazing. Like, it's such good music and it looks so pretty. It's a very pretty show. It sounds amazing. And this episode had great pace and it wasn't slowing down. Even in that tiny bit of Negan I felt was a bit rushed. Everything else was great. The episode had lots of action. It was a very action-filled episode. And a massive thing, the sets were amazing because guess what? They weren't in the woods like they normally are. They're in this urban environment. So it's good to see all the plots take place in an urban environment. Good to see Daryl fighting Commonwealth troopers in an abandoned city. It was just very cool to see this new set. Also, massive things for Jerry actually being able to do something. Even though he has such a small story, he's just, I'm going to take the kids and go over there. Jerry actually moves and he actually does something in the story. I'm so happy. Characters which I would have seen more, I like to see more, kind of went to the back thing. Like Aaron and Gabriel really didn't do much. Even Maggie didn't really do much. Even Ezekiel, it was more, this episode's definitely focused on Daryl versus Lance, Pamela and Yumiko dealing with the fallout of what Connie did. And then Carol and Negan trying to find Sebastian. They were all very good. My favourite character would have been Negan this episode because he stood out. Negan got the big F-bomb in this episode. It's just weird they're now dropping them. Having like 12 years of them just kind of trying to avoid saying naughty words to be like, yeah, we're going to just drop him now. It's weird. So Negan did get one, which is cool, and I really like Negan's interaction with Sebastian. I feel like there could have been more. Negan had some very good interactions this episode. However, I feel like they definitely cut down his interactions with a lot of characters. Like, he had a good interaction with Mercer, however, it was too short for my liking. And the same with Sebastian. He had a good interaction with Sebastian, and then Sebastian just kind of got separated, and you're like, great, so Negan's never going to see Sebastian again. But I really, really do have to give props to the acting, there's just no bad acting. I have said that Negan was my favourite this episode, but the acting all over was absolutely amazing. I do have one issue, and that's when we see the Horde, we don't see any special walkers. I'm really worried we're only going to see them in episode 19, because why are we not getting like kind of hints of them? It'd be very jarring to be watching The Walking Dead, and then suddenly episode 19, walkers can climb, walkers can open doors, and it's like, what? Why are we having walkers suddenly do this in this one specific episode? It's like when we had the feral humans in episode 6. We never saw them before, we never saw them after, just one episode. And I feel like episode 19 could be like that, it's just a little gripe. We should have seen maybe Mercer and Rosita reacting to the smarter walkers. Maybe the smart walkers are the reason the truck got flipped. Maybe the smart walkers did something and it had Mercer stunned and they had to drive off because of this smart walker horde. Something like that could have definitely improved the episode. This episode is not perfect. It's very good. There is literally no filler. This episode is 100% story and progressing the Commonwealth arc on 100%. And some places massively, even though I didn't like the kind of third arc with the walkers and with kind of the rebellion scenes, it progressed the story the most out of all of them, I feel. Now let's move on to one sentence as one word overview. And this episode has some really good highs. It's a very strong opener to the final 8 episodes. It's paced well. It looks amazing. The sets are amazing. The acting's good. There are mega piles of good things about this episode. There are only a few bad things I would have to say. As I mentioned, I have to give this episode massive prompts. I would have to say this episode is great. This is a great episode. It's a great start to the final episodes. And this episode really makes me excited for the final 8 episodes. I'm really excited to see more. This episode left me wanting more, not left me being like, how? Why am I watching this? I don't want to watch anymore. So it's a great episode. But please tell me down below, what are your thoughts on this episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? What are your favourite parts of my episode? My favourite part was the Negan interactions with the Commonwealth characters, as in we never got that in the comics. But please tell me everything you think and thought and everything down below. And if you want Walking Dead content, please look on the screen and make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep updated with all things Walking Dead, 2 videos a week, every week, and have all the views on the latest episodes. But that's it for me today, so goodbye, peace out, and I'll talk to you at a later date.